Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you how to make Bob's favorite teddy bear, Tim. This is designed by Elise Chagnon from Facebook, or also known as @EliseChagnon on Instagram. I'll be making mine exactly like this one, and he's a perfect little fit. For my picture, just to let you know, I did use a toothpick just to prompt him up, and I just put it in the back of the head. You could do little slip knots, or use a toothpick just to take the picture. And these are the supplies that I'll be using today. So I do hope you enjoy, and let's get started. We're going to start off making his legs, and I'm going to show you to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. So right now we're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to take one band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to pull 6 bands through, one at a time. Reaching in, and you're going to bring your band through on your hook, and you're going to bring your loop over. Bring it to the side and go back in, leaving this loop on your hook. Go back in and bring your second band through. Put the end on your hook, and you're going to bring these 2 loops over the end loop and bring it to the side. You're going to go back in and just repeat, bringing your band through on your hook and bring these 2 loops over. Bring it to the side and just continue. Now attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove it off the loom. You should have 6 stitches. So move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is on your hook. For round 2 and 3 of the legs, this is the pattern. For round 2, we're going to increase to 8 stitches. So we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 1, and then an increase, adding 2 bands. And you're going to repeat again. 1, 1, 2. So on every 3rd stitch, you're adding 2 bands. Let's do round 2. So in the first 2 stitches, you're adding 1 band. The next chain with 1 band. Now in chain 3, you're adding 2 bands in that same chain. Back in. And you're going to repeat because you have 3 more stitches. I have 3 more sections here. So 1, the next chain with 1, and then the last chain you're adding 2 bands. Back in. So you should have 8 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and we're going to continue with round 3. In round 3, you're just adding 1 band in each chain. So I have 8 bands, so we're going to end up with 8 stitches. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So you're going to start in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're going to bring your first band through. Moving on to the next chain, all the way around, so you'll have 8 stitches when you're done. It is small, so take your time. So I'm at the stitch marker, it's my last stitch, and I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm just going to bring it through all of the stitches that were on my hook, grabbing the end and tying it off. Now this is where you can remove your stitch marker. You want to pause the video and make yourself another one. When you are done with the legs, you want to put them to one side because the arms are going to look exactly or something similar to these, and I don't want you to get confused. Round one of the arm, we're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. Now this one is going to be smaller. These are the legs. So you can see that the difference in the opening of the hole is going to be different. We're going to finish with 6 stitches on the arms, and the legs have 8 stitches. So when we're ready to sew this together, I will show you the difference of which ones. So try not to mix them up. I'm going to do one with you, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. We're going to do the 6 stitches. So you want to grab your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to bring the 6 bands through one at a time. Reach in, grab your band and bring through on your hook, and bring your band, this little loop, over and bring it to the side. Go back in, get your second band to bring through on your hook. You have 3 loops. You want to bring your 2 over the end. Bring it to the side and repeat. Go back in, bring your band through on your hook and 2 loops over. And just continue. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is on your hook. For rounds 2 and 3, we're just going to do 6 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And you're going to repeat that 2 times. So for round 2, just adding 1 band in each chain. I'm going in my first chain and bringing my band through on my hook and side. And continue all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. Next chain. And the last one. You can remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook, or it's so small you don't really need to use one. So round 3, we're going to repeat, adding 1 band in each chain. You can see how I'm holding this, because it is tiny. So it's really easy to stretch this piece, so try not to. Your last band, you are doing that slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm at the stitch marker. You want to bring your last band through all of the loops on your hook and side. Remove, remove your stitch marker and put this to the side. So I'm gonna, my legs are on my left and the arms I'm gonna put on the right. Now we're gonna make the eye, and I'm gonna do one and then you're gonna pause the video to make yourself another. We're gonna start off with 5 single crochets in the magic ring. My first band is my cat band, and I'm gonna wrap it around 4 times. So let's go ahead and do that. 1 band around the bottom peg. You wanna go 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm gonna pull 5 bands through, 1 at a time. My last band, I'm gonna do a slip knot to tie it closed. Then I'm gonna go from one end to the other with the black band and do a slip knot in the back with a white band. I'm gonna attach a sewing band to the other side. So let's get started. We're gonna pull 5 bands through. With your hook, reach in, Your cap band should be wrapped 4 times. Bring your band through on your hook and slide. Bring it to the side, go back in, bring your 2 loops over, back in, and just continue. This is my last band, so we're going to do the same thing with a slip knot. So bring your band through, support with your finger, get comfortable, and bring your loop over. So I have either ends. Grab the end, bring your loop over, and do a slip knot. Now you're going to remove off the loom holding this slip knot, and we want to bring our bands around so it's in kind of an even circle as best as you can do it. And now we're going to attach a sewing band to the opposite side. So you want to grab the chain right across, put your hook through, grab your white band, bring it through and do a slip knot. So it's on either end. Now we're going to do the the black, and we want to go sideways. So you want to be very careful to make sure that it's going sideways. So I'm going to go from one end to the other. So from the back, I'm going to put my hook through, bring my band, the black through, and I want to go on the opposite side. So I'm going to go right beside the other little slip knot here, just through the chain, and I want to bring my black band through, holding this still on my hook. And you want to make sure that you like it, that it's going sideways. Now I'm going to take a white band and do a slip knot, so bringing it through the black loops on my hook and slide. Now you can pause the video and make yourself another. Round 1 of the ear, I'm going to show you to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. So this is going to be an easy one. It's just 5 single crochets in the magic ring. We're doing a half circle, so I'm just not going to bring all the bands around, which I'll show you in 1 second. And then I'm going to attach 2 sewing bands. I'm not going to use a stitch marker. With our last band, we are going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So you're just going to bring it through all of the loops. So at the bottom of your peg, you want to take your first band and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to bring 5 bands through, 1 at a time. Reach in, bring your band through, on your hook, and bring your loop over. Back in. We are creating a half circle, so we just want the bands on the top. Go back in and continue, bringing your hook through, band over, 2 loops over. What I mean about keeping them on the top is I'm not going to keep turning all the way to the back. Back in. You can fix by hand after, so not to worry. And the last one. So the last band you're going to bring through, you're going to kind of support this with your finger here, and you're going to bring it through your last loop. So I have both ends. One's on my hook and one's on my finger. So just to do that one more time, I'm going to reach in with my last band, bringing it through. I want to get this on my finger, bring my loop over, grab the end, and tie it off. Don't pull too hard. These are sewing bands, so we don't want them stretched. And I have a half a circle. Now, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to attach 2 sewing bands. So I'm going to do one to the middle and one to the end. The middle one, the middle one, I'm going to put my hook through the 2 stitches. You have 3, so if I went through the center, but what I want to do is just grab 2 of the stitches. So here's the 3rd little loop, and here's your center. And I'm going to bring my band through on my hook and slide. Don't pull too hard. And now the last one I'm going to do on the chain at the end. And bring your band through on your hook and slide. So there's your half circle and there's your 2 ears. So please pause the video and make yourself another. For round 1 of the head, we're going to do the head now. We are going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to be using 7 bands and a stitch marker. We're going to take our first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now reach in with your hook and you want to pull the 6 bands through one at a time. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this now, so just bring it through, bring your loop over, and bring it to the side and just continue. You want to attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 6 stitches. Just move your bands around. For round 2, I'm going to add 2 bands to each chain. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I have 6 sections here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In each chain, add 2 bands. So let's go on my first chain here. Bring your band through on your hook and slide, and go back in that same chain and bring your second band through. Oop, trying to go slow here. Let me do that again. Back in that same chain. So you can see I have the 2 stitches in that one chain. You're going to repeat all the way till you get to your stitch marker. In the next chain with 2, back in, the next chain, and the last. Oh, lost my stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase this round to 18 stitches. So your last round, in round 2, you have 12 stitches. In round 3, you're going to increase to 18 stitches. So this is the pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this pattern 6 times. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled. And you want to bring your first band through on your hook and slide. Now chain 2, you're adding 2 bands. Back in, now repeat 1, 2. The next chain with 2. And just repeat all the way until you get to the stitch marker. My last chain, I'm adding 2 bands. So you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase this round to 24 stitches. So this is the pattern. You're going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then you're going to increase 3 times with 2 bands. You're going to repeat this 2 times. So in our first 6 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you're adding 1 band. So let's go ahead and do that. Going in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bringing 1 band through. The next chain. So now we have 3 sections here where we're adding 2 bands. So 2, 2, 2. One at a time. Back in. This is your increase. Again, the next chain. Back in. And one more time in the next chain, adding 2 bands. So now we're going to repeat. We're going to do 6 single crochets, adding 1 band in the first 6 chains, in the next 6 chains. Next chain. So now you should have 3 chains left, 1, 2, and 3. In those 3 chains, you're adding 2 bands. Back in. The last chain with 2. Back in. So you should have 24 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 5 of the head, we're just adding 1 band to each chain around. So 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I have 24 bands here. So at the end of this round, you should still have 24 stitches. So I'm going to reach in, going in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bringing my first band through. The next chain with 1. So you're just doing 24 single crochets. You want to go around all the way until you get to the stitch marker. Now what we want to do is we want to support this band. So I need to tie it somehow. So it's either you take it apart and do a slip knot or use your C-clip or stitch marker just to secure it. So remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and you're going to remove your hook from here, and you want to just secure it. We're going to be attaching the face features on now right to the front here. Now we're going to do the face features, and I'm going to start off with the nose. So I'm going to use 4 black bands. I'm going to go bring the nose through one end to the other end of the magic ring. Now where your C-clip is, or your stitch marker, it doesn't matter which way you put the nose on. It could be this way or this way. It doesn't matter. So just get comfortable. You want to find nice even from one end to the other of your magic ring. So now with your hook, you're going to take 3 black bands and wrap this around 3 times. So just like this, making sure it's nice and even, and go around 3 times. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. Try to be as neat as possible, and you want to slide this onto a single black band. So pinch and squeeze and slide. Now I'm going to let go of this one end. Be very careful. And I'm going to put my hook through from the front down. And I'm going to go to the other side with my hook. And I'm going to grab my end and bring it towards the back. Now I have these 2 on. You can just pull it through if you want here. And you're going to do a slip knot with a single brown band. So bring it through on your hook and slide. Now you want to bring this to the back. So you just turn it around. You can use your hook to go in that same hole and bring your band to the other side. And then just fix up the tension. And you can play around with that. I may or may not fix, but now we're going to do the mouth. So I'm going to use 2 red bands and 1 brown band. What you want to do is you want to bring these 2 red bands, I'm going to double them, and I'm going to bring them through these 2 holes right below the nose. So it's going to look like this. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is with our hook, we're going to bring our hook through the back out to the front. Now you can put that down for 1 second. So I'm just right below, and I'm going to go through the next chain. But I'm going to take these 2 red bands and I'm going to double them. But I'm going to stretch it because it makes it a little bit easier. And I'm going to double it. And I'm going to put this on one of my fingers. Now I have it all twisted, so with my hook, I'm just going to use my hook and just kind of go around to make sure that it's not as twisted. I'm going to try my best here. Now, making sure I'm right below the nose, I'm going to bring one end through and I'm going to stretch it again and bring it through the hole. Now from the back, I'm going to go right beside the chain to the other end and grab the other end. I think I'm going to have to do that again to show you. And that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to do a slip knot with a brown band in the back. So I'm just going to take this off and do it again. So taking 2 red bands, I'm going to double it. So give it a stretch. Double it. Trying to put it on my finger and not have it as twisted. So maybe it'll be easier if I did this before I put my hook through. So it's like this. Now at the bottom of the nose, I'm going to go from the back towards the front, and I'm going to bring the end through to the other side, and then I'm going to bring the other ends in the other hole right beside it. So grab the ends, giving it another stretch. I'm more comfortable with my middle finger here. Bringing it through. I'm going to slide it up a little bit, go through the other hole right beside it, and bring my other end through. Now I was twisted, so I'm just going to untwist it, grabbing the ends with my hook and bringing it towards the back. Now grab a brown band and do a slip knot, so you want to bring it through. I got hooked to this band. I don't want to attach to that. Grab your end and slide and do a slip knot. But I need to get this little band off and give it a tug. And then you can fix that up. And if you want, you can just release some of the tension there. And now we're going to attach the eyes, and I'm going to use a single brown band for each eye. When you're doing the eye, you want to kind of have them right beside, like the bottom here, right beside the nose. On this one, I have one eye up here and one eye down here, so I kind of put it too high. So I want to make sure that my bands are kind of like the same as the nose. So with one eye, we're going to find our placement, and I'm going to go right beside the nose. Now another thing is you want the black band on an angle. Here I have one this way and the same thing with this way. You want them so it looks like that. So be careful. It might not be the exact placement where I'm putting them, so you just want to make sure. So kind of like this. Now I'm going to bring these three bands, 1, 2, and 3, to the other side. So I'm going to go from the back up. So I'm going to have it about here, so this means I'm bringing my first band right above the nose. So from the back to the front. Now this one should go in the center, so the next stitch right beside it. And then the next chain right beside it, the next little hole, and then check the placement. So I like this placement. So I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to hook on to the 3 little stitches. I have to grab that band back and bring it. So that was one. I'm going to slide, and the last, and I'm going to slide. Now I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to grab those stitches again because otherwise the eye is very loose. So I'm going to go through my chains with my hook, go through the other chain with my hook. So I have 2, 4, and 5 little loops around my hook, and I'm going to bring my single brown band through those chains, grab the end, and do a slip knot. Check the placement again because this is where you want to undo it if you need to. And now for the other eye, we're going to do the same thing. Find your placement. So I'm going to go on the next stitch right beside it. Bring my band through. You could let go, or you can keep it on your hook. So now my middle band, I'm going to go to the next stitch. And the last. So I want to make sure what I did before on this one is I went towards the top. I want to stay even with this side, so I'm going to go on this side. I went in the chain up here. You want to go here. And then you can check your placement. So that's all you're doing. And then you can just look at it, make sure that it's okay. And then turn around and do the same thing. You're grabbing onto your little chains and slide, and the last chain and slide. Turn it around and hook onto those chains again. 5 little loops, and bring your brown band through and do a slip knot. Try not to stretch. Grab the end and tie it off. Again, check your placement. My black bands are going on an angle, and I'm okay with that. Now we're going to do round 6, and I'm going to show you the pattern in just 1 second. What we're going to do is take off the stitch marker and put it back on our hook. So I'm just going to turn it around to the back. I'm going to remove it off the chain that I had my stitch marker supported to, and I'm going to put my loop back on my hook. Now for the pattern, we're going to decrease this round to 18 stitches. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. So this would be stitch 3 and 4 together. I'm going to do an invisible decrease, so I'm adding an extra band. I'm going to repeat 1, 1, 3 and 4 together with an invisible decrease. And I'll show you when we get there. So I'm just adding an extra band to my decreases here. So in the first 2 chains, I'm going to add 1 band in each. Not where it's getting pulled. Bringing 1 band through. The next chain with 1 band. So just so you know, you're repeating that pattern 6 times. Now, these 2 stitches I want to stitch together, so I'm going to do 2 slip knots in each chain and then pull it through. So this is my 3rd chain. I'm going in, bringing my band through, grab the end, and do a slip stitch or a little slip knot. Leave it on your hook. So I have 2 loops. Go in the next chain and do this again, a little slip stitch. So I have 3 little loops on my hook and slide. Now I'm going to repeat the pattern again. 1, 1. So 1 single crochet, the slide, next stitch with 1, and slide. Now these 2 stitches I'm going to stitch together with an invisible decrease. So I'm going to go in, do a slip stitch, leave it on my hook, go in the next chain, slip stitch, 3 loops, and slide. So just so you know, you're repeating this all the way until you get to your stitch marker. So I'm going to do this one more time by saying it. 2 single crochets and slide. The next chain with 1 single crochet and slide. These 2 stitches I'm stitching together. Do a slip stitch, leave it on your hook, go to the next chain, slip stitch, and leave it on your hook, and slide. And just repeat the pattern. So you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 7, the pattern is 1 followed by a decrease, so it'd be 2 and 3 together. I will be doing the invisible decrease. I'll be adding an extra band. You're going to repeat 1 single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. You're going to repeat this pattern 6 times. At the end of round 7, you're going to have 12 stitches. When we're done with this round, we're going to be adding a little bit of stuffing. The more stuffing you add, you'll get a different effect. So you just want a little bit. So we'll get to that when we're done. Now, you're going to go in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and adding 1 band. You're going to stitch the next 2 together, so the invisible decrease, go in your chain and do a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. The next chain, slip stitch or crochet, and you have 3 loops and side. That's your decrease. Again, the next stitch with 1 band and side. The next 2 together, so a slip stitch, leave it on your hook, go to the next chain, slip stitch, and then side. 3 loops and side. You're just going to repeat this all the way till you get to your stitch marker. Ooh. So 1 single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. The last 2 chains are together. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and I lost it. Add it to the band, and push your band up and add a little bit of stuffing. So you want to have it nice and full. So if you push it down, and you still have room to go to the top, then add a little bit more. If you add too much, it's going to show through to the front, but you want to have it all the way around. And my stuffing is right flush to the top. So even if I push it down, it's still flush. So that's enough. For round 8, what we're going to do is 6 invisible decreases. So I'm adding an extra band to each. So I'm going to decrease every single stitch here. So I'll get started. You don't want to start where your band is being pulled. We're going to start in our chain, and I'm going to do a slip stitch and then leave it on my hook. You want to push down the stuffing so you don't grab it, and leave it on your hook. The next chain, same thing. 3 loops and side. You're going to do the next stitches together, the next 2, trying to push your stuffing down, less fixing at the end. Leave it on your hook. The next stitch, slip stitch, 3 loops and side. Again, repeat, slip stitch, leave it on your hook, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. Your last band, you are going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'll get to that in a second. Last 2 stitches. So slip stitch, leave it on your hook. The last stitch, I'm going to bring this band through all of the chains that are on my hook. So support with your finger and bring it through. Grab the end and tie it closed. Remove your stitch marker. This is the opening that we'll use to tie it to the back of the body. Now I'm just going to move some stuffing around and flatten out the face. Now round one of the body, we're going to use the legs and we're going to sew them together. And I'm going to go extremely slow. So for those of you that get it, I'm sorry, I'm going to try to go really slow so everybody will get it. Now you want to make sure that you're grabbing the legs and not the arms. The arms have a smaller opening because there's only 6 stitches, and the legs have a wider opening. So make sure that you're not using the arms. We're going to stitch these 2 legs together, and this is the pattern. You're going to use 16 bands. I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And at 16, I'm going to attach a stitch marker. Now, you have 16 stitches on your legs. So we're going to do this really carefully. I'm going to attach my slip knots right in the center here. And when I start, I'm going to grab the stitches on either side of the slip knot. So right below, I'm going to start with this band right here. If you want to take a look at that and set it up the same way as I do. Now I'm going to go right beside the slip knot on either side. Here's my slip knot. I'm going to go through the chain. So my slip knots are on the top part of my hook. I'm going to bring my first band through those chains. On my hook and slide. Now, you want to grab the chains that are on the opposite side. Can I maybe grab something so you can see? I'm going to grab on either side of the slip knot. So the little chains here and on the other side of the slip knot here, and I'm going to bring my next band through. So let's grab the first leg, the chain right above the slip knot, and on the other leg. So now I'm on the other side of the slip knots. And bring my next band through. On my hook and slide. So we just did the 2. Now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You want to get 9 stitches on this leg. So let's do that part first. So let's show you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, we did 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. My 9th stitch was my first band that I pulled through. We're using that same chain. So let's get started. We did 2. Now in my next chain right beside is 3. On my hook and slide and go around. Chain 4 was right at the top. Chain 5 is more to the side. Chain 6 is at the side. Chain 7 is at the bottom. I'm trying very hard not to turn this around. Chain 8 is right at the bottom. Now chain 9, we've already used it before, but we want to get in there again. So it's right at the bottom, right in between. We want to use that chain again. So bring your band through on your hook and slide. So I've just used the bands all there in one leg. So now chain 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Chain 6. So this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight to the chain what we've already used before. So it's in here on the other side of the leg now. So it was our first band that we pulled through. We're using that chain again. If I don't use that chain again, we're going to have this hole right in the center. So you want to go in that chain right in the middle here. So if you stretch it open, you're going to see that hole. We've already used that. Bring your band through. Now go around with the rest of your bands. I think this one is pretty straightforward. Open it up. I'm at the bottom. I don't know why I said at the bottom. Go around. Oh, the bottom here, I meant. Go around. Go around. And the last. Attach your stitch marker. So if you open it up, this is what you have, and let's get familiar with our chains. So now, you're going to start right in the center, and that chain was already used on our first round here when attaching the legs. This little stitch was already used. So this is one. Now, if you kind of move your center band to the center, you're going to go from here. So you're going to see your chain one. You're not using this chain because that's in the center of your legs. You're going to the other, so you're going around. So this was chain one, chain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 is on your hook. For rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you're doing 16 single crochets. So adding one band, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do round 2 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and complete the rest of the rounds, and then come back to me when you're done. So remember, we have 16 stitches, so we're using 16 bands. You're going to go right beside where your chain is. That chain was already moved, and it's directly in the center of the legs here. So you're going to bring one band through. Now you don't want to go through that little chain because that's below this band that's going in the center this way. So you want to go to the next stitch that's around. Bring your band through. Moving on to the next chain. And continue going around. The rest of the chains are pretty visible. So just so you know, we're going to count the stitches. I'm going to leave my stitch marker here for 1 second, and we count the stitch that's right beside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 is on my hook. remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's on your hook. And you want to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 7, we're going to be adding the arms. In this round, I'm going to go slow again because it's not going to be an easy one to do. I have my pattern laid out. My little dots mean single crochet, just so you know. I'm going to start off with the first section. We're going to do a single crochet in the first chain, and then we're going to stitch the arm through 2 chains through the body and 2 chains on the arm. Then we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 1, 1, and stitch 7 and 8 together. I'm using an invisible decrease method, so I'll be adding an extra band. Then stitch 9, I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and stitch 10 and 11, I'm going to add the arm, the second one. Then I'm going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 1, 1, and stitch the last 2 stitches, 15 and 16, together. So I'm doing the invisible decrease, so I'm adding an extra band. I'm going to do each section with you really slowly. Take your time, and if you think you can't do it, just sew on the arms after, just with a little slip knot. How I would do with all the other animals, or I'm sorry, the other, for instance, the bear that I did, the other bear, the doll, just sew them on after instead of doing it this way. But I think you can do it. So go in your first chain where your stitch is coming out of. Don't go in there. Go in your next chain there. And you're going to bring a single band through. So that was chain 1. Now chain 2 and 3, you're using 2 bands, and you're going to go through your next stitch with your hook. And you're going to grab the arm, and I am going to go right beside the slip knot. So through this chain, this is where I'm going to attach the arm. I'm going to bring my band through and do that single crochet. So I brought it through the chains on the arm, the chain on the body, grab your end, and slide. Now you're going to go to your third chain on the body, and you're going to go to the next chain on the arm that's right beside the slip knot. And you're going to bring your band through. Just the chain on the arm, the chain on the body, grab the end, and slide. So we just attached an arm. Now if by chance your arm is not at the side, because we all crochet differently, you just want to make sure that you're doing the little pattern with 2 decreases and adding the arms at the side. So 2 decreases is going to make this round go to 14 stitches when we're done. So it's not hard to do that. So you're just going to decrease twice, whether you decrease in the front or you decrease in the back, it doesn't matter. We just want to add the arms on to the sides. Now, for our next row, let's move this up. We're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 1, 1. So right beside the arm, don't go on the same chain that you just came out of, adding 1 band. Again, the next chain with 1 band. And the next chain with 1 band. So we just did 3 single crochets after adding the arm. 1, 1, 1. Now, chain 7 and 8, we're going to stitch together. So I'm going to do the invisible decrease method, so doing a slip stitch, bring your band through on your hook, keep it there, and go on the next stitch, or the next chain, forgive me, on your hook, do that slip stitch, 3 little loops, and slide. There's our invisible decrease. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet, next chain, bring your band through, and I'm at the side again, so I'm going to grab these 2 chains, and if you're not, you can even give it a little stretch to get it there. So now I'm going to go in the chain on the body, my next one, and I'm going to grab the arm. So I'm going to go right beside my little slip knot, grabbing the stitch or that chain, and we're going to make a stitch. I keep messing those up. This one is going through, you're taking a band, bring it through the stitch on the arm, the chain on the body, and slide. The next chain on the body, and the next chain beside the slip knot. So just so you see again, chain on the body, beside the slip knot, I'm grabbing that chain on the arm, and you're going to bring your band through on your hook and slide. Now, we're going to do 3 single crochets. 12, 13, and 14 are having 1 band in each. Let's move these up. So right beside where we ended up, 1 band. The next chain with 1. The next with 1. And now we're going to stitch together, doing the invisible decrease method, 16 and 15 together. Do a slip stitch and bring it through on your hook and leave it there. The last stitch, same thing. 3 little loops inside. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 8, I don't want to make this sound more difficult than what it is. On your body, you should have 14 stitches. We want to decrease this round to 12 stitches. So we're just going to do 2 decreases at the bottom here. So 11 and 12 is going to be stitched together. I'm using the invisible decrease method. 13 and 14, I'm using the invisible decrease. I don't want to continue with the whole pattern, but just so you know, you're only going to decrease twice in this round. But you have 4 stitches on the arms. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You want to stitch those 2 stitches together, but I'm only going to grab 1 stitch on the body. So what I want to do is I want to do the first section first. So it's the first 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're going to bring 1 band through. So I'm just grabbing the chains on the body, on your hook and slide. Now the next the next chain on the body, and I'm going to do an invisible decrease with the 2 chains that are on the arms. So I'm going to bring a single band, so I'm going to go through my first chain here on the arm. So I have the chain on the arm and the chain on the body. I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm going to bring my band through the arm and on my hook and leave it like that. So I still have the chain of the body, and now I have the slip stitch with the first chain on the arm. Now I'm going to go through the next chain on the arm and do a slip stitch again and then pull it through. So here I have the stitch from the arm, the other stitch from the arm, and the chain on the body. And I still have that other loop from the first chain that we did on the body. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 little loops. Slide. Let's try to hide this little slip knot from the arm. If I can get it out of the way. Now, you want to be careful, go in your next chain on the body, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do that invisible decrease, but just on the chains on the arms. So, go through the next chain on the body, go through the next chain on the arm, do a slip stitch, and leave it on your hook. You still have 1 more chain on the arm, so I'm on the arm. Bring your band through, do a slip stitch. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 little loops on your arm. on your hook. Slide. Now I'm going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now on the body, I'm going to go through my next chain, and I'm going to do that invisible slip stitch on the arms again. So now I'm at chain 7. So I'm going to bring it through. I'm going to put my hook through the chain on the arm, do a slip stitch on my hook, and keep it on your hook. You're going to go on the next chain on the arm and do the same thing, slip stitch, keep it on your hook. 5 little loops and slide. Now the next chain on the body, and you're going to repeat. You're going to grab the last 2 chains, 1 and 2 on the arm, and do a slip stitch on each. Slip stitch, keep it on your hook. I have this slip knot from the arm in the way. Go in the next stitch on the arm, do a slip stitch on your hook, and slide. Now you're going to do 2 single crochets, so I'm at stitch 9 and 10. Not that this really helps you, but it helps me to try to explain it. So you want to make sure that you're not going in the wrong chain. So don't go where your band's being pulled. This is 1 and another single crochet, and you should have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to do your invisible decrease. So do 2 slip stitches in the next 2 chains, the next stitch, and slide. Invisible decrease again. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 9, we're going to decrease twice. So I'm going to be using the invisible decrease method. We're going to do 4 single crochets, 1, 1, 1, 1, followed by a decrease. So I'm using an extra band. Then we're going to repeat one more time, 1, 1, 1, 1, 4 single crochets, followed by an invisible decrease. So in your first 4 chains, you're adding 1 band. 1, 1, 1, 1. So don't start where it's being pulled. Go on your next chain and add 1 band. And slide. The next chain with 1. Again, repeat. And 1 more. So you just did 4 single crochets. Now do your invisible decrease, so a slip stitch. Next chain, leave it on your hook. 3 loops and slide. Repeat one more time. Open it up, find your stitches. And your last 2 chains you're stitching together, so I'm going to do my slip stitch, leave it on my hook, and the last one, slip stitch, 3 loops and slide. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Now grab some stuffing. You don't want a lot of stuffing. You want to be really careful, and you want to just fill the legs a little bit. You can push this in with your hand. You can go after and use your hook to pull it through to the legs, and I will do that after the next round, our last round. So you just want a little bit, and you just move it around. Flatten it up just to make sure that you don't have any coming out, and you don't want the stuffing to show through the bands. So I'll pull it out after. For round 10, we're going to make this round smaller, and it's going to be our last round. I'm going to do 1 single crochet followed by 4 invisible decreases. So I'm adding an extra band. I'm going to end with 1 single crochet. In this last band, I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and adding 1 band. Try to push the stuffing down so you don't grab it. Now, an invisible decrease, so these 2 stitches I'm stitching together. Slip stitch. Next chain, leave it on your hook. 3 loops inside. Again, repeat. And 1 more invisible decrease. So we have 1 chain left where our stitch marker is. Just do a single crochet, but you're doing a slip knot. So just bring it through and tie it off. Remove your stitch marker. Make sure that band is secured. With your hook, you want to go in and just pull some of the stuffing down to the leg. Careful when you remove your hook that you don't pull the stuffing. Now we're going to sew the head to the body, and we're going to do it like this. So you're going to pull 3 bands through. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to grab 2 of the chains here, so just like this, and I'm going to grab 2 of the chains here and 2 of the chains here. So you just want to kind of maybe just open it up, and you just want to grab 3 sections basically. And you should have 6 stitches here, so if you kind of open it up and you randomly catch these stitches, so right beside the slip knot on the body, there's 1, then 2, and then 3. And you're just going to bring it through the head and the body. So make sure that you're not sewing it sideways. You want to make sure that you have your face kind of like the placement will fall. You just want to make sure that your head's not crooked. So I went through the front back to the front, and I'm going to grab on the back of the head, bring a band through, grab your end and tie off. Go through the next 2 chains right in the center, front and back on the body, and do the same thing to the back of the head. Front and back, like top and bottom. On the head, bring a band through, on your hook, and side. You're going to do that 1 more time and do a slip knot. So you're going to go through the 2 chains on the sides here and grab 2 little sections on the back of the head. Grab your band, do a slip knot to tie it closed. You may want to use another band just to secure it, but mine so far was okay, and I made a couple of these. Now, you're going to take a single band and you want to do a little slip knot just to hold the head down. So I'm going to put it flat and right below this edging of the face, or sorry, right behind it, I'm going to grab a chain and put it flat, and that's where I'm going to grab on the body and do a slip knot. And then you can just hide all these slip knots just by going through and bringing it to the other side and doing it a little bit neater than I'm doing it right now. I'm going to go through the head here. And then the ones on the back. If your back is showing, just grab these little knots, loosen up some of the tension, and just move your bands around. Now we're going to add the ears, and I'm just going to put them flat like this. This is where I'm going to be kind of at the angles of the eyes, and I'm going to tie it off with a single brown band. So pick your front and your back, however way you want to have it. My sewing band came undone, so if you want it this way or this way, I kind of like this side. So I'm just going to put it here, flatten the head out, and I don't want to sew it in the back, so I'm just going to flatten the head out, and I'm going to add them to the chains that are right at the end here at the side. So I'm going to go through one of the chains here, bring my sewing band through, the next chain, bring my sewing band through, and the next chain. And I'm going to check the placement before I tie it off. And that's okay. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to lift the ear up a bit, and this sewing band is what I'm going to catch. And I'm going to do a slip knot, so I'm going to bring it through, grab the end, and slide. And if you did it too far or you just don't like where it is, you could just undo that slip knot and then try again. We're going to do that to the other side. So I'm just going to be on the angle of the eye. Flatten the head out a bit. And I can see my 3 chains that I want to bring my sewing band through. Check the placement. Turn it around. Lift up the head. Grab that sewing band that we added in the middle of the ear. Do a slip knot. Fix the ear up. Hide your sewing bands. Be careful you don't pull the stuffing. And you can just keep on doing that, and we're done. I do hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load, and I'll see you next time with another. Bye for now.